Tuesday morning, 23rd of July, and summer is finally here. It is picking up, which is what we like to see. So that's where we are. Plan of action. It's a little bit later than usual. I feel like I say this all the time, but the last couple of nights my sleep has been pretty poor. So I've only got the one session today, which is a run. So I stayed in bed until about 7:30 as opposed to 6:30. Done some work, and now I'm going to go on my run, fueled up, I've eaten, I'm feeling good, ready to go. Today's run it's a bit of a unique one. It's split 5k, 4k, 3k, and 5k slow, nice and comfortable. 4k a little bit quicker, last 3k at its quickest. So we'll see how that goes. Like I say, it's warm, so we've got a vest on. It's a tight vest up, and that's where we are. But this is my first week back post deload, so I'm going to sit down and talk a little bit about why deloads are important, why you should be skipping them if you're looking to make progress within your physique, your training performance, or whatever it may be. So that's where we are. We're going to stretch, warm up, immobilise, I think that's the right word, and head out on this beautiful Tuesday morning. So that's the run done. Windy, hot, hence the t-shirts now come off. 5k at like 550 per kilometres, 4k at 5:05 to 5:10, and then the last 3k was 4:45 to 4:50. So it's nice to open up the legs, get the heart rate going. It's hot and I've just been absolutely drenched by the pipes keeping the water wet. So yeah, there we are. We're going to head to the shop, a little walk back, a little come down. But yeah, sun's out, tops off. Happy Tuesday. Like I said, run ticked off. We just got back from the shop. A few essentials. Coconut water. If you know, you know. Coconut water, a little bit of a hit and miss with people, but I enjoy it. It tastes nice, full of potassium, so fantastic for hydration. I've also got a Lucozade, again, just to help get some more easy sugars, carbohydrates, glucose into the system post run. I'll tell you what, I bought all the drinks. I then got a lemon and lime flavoured water, which I'll just drink on throughout the day. And then these, if you're looking to get calories in, fantastic. Chocolate flavoured milk made from soya, but very, very good. Put them in the fridge though, because they're a bit warm. Dark chocolate, standard for the mornings. And then eggs. I didn't have my eggs this morning. I just had sourdough, banana, and some honey. So I'm going to have some eggs with some yogurt, not together. Yogurt, eggs, apple, fruit. Keep quite light because I am bloody not very hungry. Good English that. I'm not very hungry at all because of the heat. I'm just finishing a run. I tend to find that hunger is never really that high. You know, most people are like, oh, Jack, you can eat loads more food. What are you going to have? I'm like, to be fair, I'll just have a salad and some fruit, like my yogurt bowl with fruit and a cold drink. I'm sweet. So that's what that's where we are. So the time is 12 o'clock. So I'm gonna shower, eat, and then I've got a few bits of videos to edit, content-wise and whatnot. Go from there. So that's where we are. Obviously, very fortunate with the job that I do. I say fortunate. I am, but then I also think that I just take that risk, you know, and that's why I'm able to, you know, work remotely, train 15 hours a week, you know, instead of obviously earning income. So that was the one thing for me. It was like, I saw a question yesterday and it was someone said, what would you be doing if you weren't at PT? When I left school, I had no idea, literally no idea. I played football for a little bit, turned out I was no good. Then I went and sold printers around business parks. You know, so I was half good at, paid for my lad's holiday to Zante, which was good fun. And then yeah, then came back, worked as a lifeguard, worked in a gym, and then went from there. But one thing, especially as I've got older and understood more, is I don't like being told what to do. I think even like back at school, if a teacher told me something, I'd always question it. And also, if someone tells me to only go left, I'm that person that wants to go right and see how far I can go. So I always like to do the opposite. So for me, it was freedom, being my own, in charge of my own thing. You know, no one's telling me what to do, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, because sometimes it is good to have that accountability of like a boss or a manager or whatnot. But that's why I have to be quite disciplined, or speak with my mom. And then the other thing was the locational freedom, not having to be tied to a location to earn money, etc. I say that I've decided to come and move up to Uttoxeter of a population of 14,000 people, which is a little bit of a strange one, but given the Ironman training, it's been perfect because there's been no real distractions. My mate I live with, spot on. I can train here. I've got 2 gyms on my doorstep, got the bike, nice routes, and it's only an hour away from home, so that's where we are. But once the Ironman is done, we shall be packing our bags and going to see the world, which is the next adventure. But for now, I've got an Ironman to do. And before that, I'm going to eat and drink because my mouth is dry. But I'll catch you in the next clip talking about the importance of deloads and why you should be looking at incorporating them into your plan. Right, deloads. Do excuse the setup. I couldn't find anywhere in the flat which this would reflect off and you couldn't see. So hopefully this is a little bit better. But I feel like I'm a school teacher stood here in a polo talking on a topic. But try and provide some education. It's not just all about running, taking my top off, trying to catch a tan. I do want to provide some value. So deload. I've just come off the back of a time spent in a deload. What is this? This is basically a time spent where we just look to pull back on training volume, intensity, the amount of sessions that I do, or someone would do, in order to reset physically, mentally. So how often would I be deloading, and when would I know, or when would you know when to take a deload? So typically speaking, it's going to depend on the person's recovery capabilities, but for me and for the majority of people I work with, anywhere from 8 to 12, maybe 14 weeks is when we would look at incorporating deload. Now, personally, I would not, for most people, not plan a deload in advance. I would be looking at metrics and feedback when to obviously put this phase in plan. Okay, so when we look at metrics, it's going to be a case of, is performance in the gym dropping? Is sleep, again, not where we want it to be? Are we feeling low on energy? Are we feeling lethargic? Are we feeling tired? Have we, stress levels high? That's going to give us the best way of knowing, right, do we need to just pull back a little bit? So I've just come off a deload. I've been training for probably about 9 weeks of 12, 13 hours per week. I was noticing that enjoyment of training was dropping, energy was low, and ultimately I knew, right, 1 step back for 2 steps forward. So that's when a deload would be recommended and taken into place. Now, one thing you can do, I just pulled back on training intensity and load. So I was going into the gym, sessions were pretty much cut around about 25%. So, I was doing did about 4 or 5 sessions last week. Intensity was pulled back a lot, so it was very much a case of slow and steady with my runs. Bike rides were a lot less in terms of duration, and the gym sessions were a little bit more, go in there, see how you feel, and go off that. Or one thing you could do, and what I recommend for those that may be a lot more busier or might have an upcoming event, would be just take a few days off. So if you've been on a program for 10 weeks, on the 11th week you have a holiday, look to use that as your deload, a bit of time away, etc. Why would we do this? Mentally, it helps a lot, having that reset and not worrying about having to get up and train or, go off and do whatever. But also, obviously, physically as well. You can spend a bit of time focusing on your sleep, recovery, whatever that be, massages, just focusing on getting adequate amount of sleep. And then ultimately, you're going to come back feeling better. So that is what a deload is. Now, I know myself in the past, I've just cracked on, never actually incorporated any of this. And you will hit a wall, okay? There's only so much amount of progression you'll be able to make until your body gives you that feedback of, things aren't progressing where they want to be. So that is where you'll look to incorporate one of these. 8 to 12 weeks, dependent again on your expenditure. You know, if you're sort of in a fat loss phase, then you may be able to, you know, go 8, 9, 10 weeks. If you're in a prep phase for a endurance event where you're a couple of days per week training twice on that day, then this may come a little bit sooner. So it's all person dependent. Again, dependent on your responsibilities outside of training, you know, work, family, that sort of stuff. However, deloads are important. Don't see it as a time spent that you're not progressing, because in the long run that you are. Okay, so that's where you deload, that's why you would deload, and ultimately how to go about it. So there we have it, a little bit more in terms of deloading, when you need to do them, etc. And obviously why they're important and beneficial, especially if you are someone that is wanting to, you know, maximize performance, maximize whatever it is that they're doing in terms of their fitness, training, etc. So there we are, a little bit more information, a little bit more of an informative video, because a day in the life is pretty much the same at the moment. However, I've got a race coming up in 3 weeks, 10th of August, which is double the Olympic distance triathlon that I did. So it is going to be a 2 kilometre swim, which is not double, so that's a lie. But the bike ride and the run are both double, so it is a 80 kilometre bike ride and a half marathon run. So got that to come up. I've got a 100-mile bike ride at the end of August, and then the videos for September will be based in Marbella, Spain. So look forward to that. But yeah, if you enjoy the videos, I know this one was a bit more informative, less action. However, I want to provide value as well as entertainment. Make sure to give the video a like, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.